The day I saddled my black mare and rode away from the Silver Ridge Ranch, everyone in town thought I was a broken woman. They thought I had lost everything. But 3 months later, my husband was on his knees at my door begging for my help. But to understand his painful regret, you have to know how my nightmare started. But before we continue, if you are new on my channel, please click on the subscribe button, like this video, comment where you are listening from, and share with your friends. Let's continue. I truly loved my husband, Theron. When I married him, I thought we would build a beautiful life together. The ranch was massive. It sat under a wide orange sky in a dusty frontier town. We had hundreds of cattle and endless green fields. But there was a dark, heavy cloud over our home. Her name was Odette. She was Theron's mother. Odette hated me from the very first day. I was not rich. I was just a girl who knew how to work hard. I knew how to calm wild horses. I knew how to balance the ranch's money. Odette wanted a fancy lady with wealthy parents for her son. She made sure I knew it every single day. "You are nothing but cheap dirt on my clean floor," Odette would whisper to me when Theron was outside working. I ignored her insults. I worked from before the sun came up until long after it went down in the dark. I balanced the heavy account books. I ordered the winter feed. I stayed awake all night to keep the sick cattle alive. Theron thought the ranch was just lucky. He thought the money just magically appeared. He didn't realize something very important. He didn't know that without me, his proud family ranch was standing on thin ice. I was the invisible glue holding everything together. None of us knew the truth yet, but the signs were there. One evening, I made a warm beef stew for dinner. I was deeply exhausted. My hands were covered in painful blisters from fixing a broken fence. Odette sat at the table, took one small bite, and threw her heavy bowl on the wood floor. The hot food splashed onto my leather boots. "This tastes like mud," she yelled loudly. "Are you trying to poison us, you worthless girl?" I froze. I looked across the table at Theron. I waited for him to defend me. I waited for my husband to be a strong man and protect his wife. Instead, he just looked down at his own plate. "Theron," I whispered, "please." He finally looked up. His eyes were cold and empty. "Vada," he said with a heavy sigh, "clean it up and respect my mother." My heart broke into a million tiny pieces. He chose her. He always chose her. I got down on my knees like a servant. I cleaned the messy floor with shaking hands. I held my burning tears inside. I thought that was the worst pain I could ever feel. But I was totally wrong. For weeks, the daily abuse got much worse. Odette locked me out of the main house during the day so I could not rest. She told the ranch workers not to listen to my orders, but I kept doing my job in secret. I kept the ranch alive. I paid the bank loans. Theron saw absolutely nothing. He was completely blind to his mother's evil heart. "You are a quiet, good wife," he would say to me at night, as if the cruel days never happened. "I am trying," I would reply softly. But my patience was running out fast. A bright fire was starting in my soul. I was so tired of being a ghost in my own home. But what happened next changed everything forever. The final breaking point came on a bright Tuesday morning. We were going to the busy town market in Dust Creek. The whole town would be there buying supplies and talking. I thought it was just a normal trip. But my husband didn't realize something important. Odette had a twisted, evil plan waiting for me. We stepped off the wooden wagon in front of 50 townspeople. Odette turned to me with a wicked, ugly smile. What she did next was so cruel, it shattered my marriage forever. We stood in the middle of the dusty market street. Dozens of people were watching us. The blacksmith stopped his heavy hammer. The shop owners stepped outside to listen. Odette reached into her fancy velvet bag. She pulled out a beautiful, expensive silver watch. It belonged to Theron's late father. "Look at this," Odette screamed for the whole town to hear. "I found this hidden in her dirty saddlebag. This cheap girl is a thief." Loud gasps echoed through the quiet street. People pointed their fingers at me. Women whispered to each other. My face burned with hot shame. I did not take that, I said. My voice was calm, but my chest felt incredibly tight. I have never stolen anything. I looked at Theron. This was his final chance. He knew I was an honest woman. He knew how hard I worked. Tell them, Theron. I begged softly. Tell them I am innocent. Theron walked slowly toward me. The town held its breath. But none of us knew the truth yet. I was about to learn who my husband really was. He looked at the silver watch, and then he looked at me with deep disgust. You have brought dark shame to my family, Theron said loudly. Get on your knees, Vada. Apologize to my mother right now. Show some respect. The world stopped spinning. The cruel betrayal felt like a cold knife in my back. But Odette made one terrible mistake. She thought public shame would break me. She thought I would cry and beg for her mercy in the dirt. She didn't realize I was born in the harsh desert. I was much stronger than her cruel words. I looked at the dusty ground. I thought about the long, cold nights I spent saving their dying cattle. I thought about the thick account books. I held a dark secret about the Silver Ridge Ranch. Without my careful math and secret deals with the merchants, the ranch had no money at all. I looked up at Theron. I did not cry. My tears were completely gone. Only anger was left. I will never apologize for something I did not do, I said clearly. Do what I say, Vada, Theron shouted. His face was red with hot anger. Or you can leave my ranch and never come back. He thought I would surrender. He thought I had nowhere else to go. I already pack light, I replied simply. Theron stepped back in shock. Odette stopped smiling. Her fake tears vanished. I turned around and walked slowly to my black mare, Obsidian. I untied her heavy rope. I climbed into the leather saddle. The crowd was perfectly silent. You could only hear the wind blowing through the dry desert grass. If you ride away, you leave with absolutely nothing, Theron yelled. He was panicking now. You will starve in the wild. I am leaving with my freedom, I said, looking down at him. And you are staying with your mother. I hope she knows how to run a ranch. I pulled the leather reins. I rode out of Dust Creek. I did not look back. Let them have their false pride. Let them have their empty, dying ranch. But what happened next changed everything. They thought they won. They went back home to celebrate my departure. They thought life would be rich and easy without me. My husband didn't realize something important. As I rode away into the setting sun, I reached into my coat pocket. I pulled out a heavy folded paper. It was a secret warning letter from the town bank. I was the only person who knew how to fix it. And I was taking the answer far away with me. Within weeks, the proud Silver Ridge Ranch would face a terrifying disaster. I rode far away to the quiet, hidden valley of Red Canyon. I bought a small, beautiful farm with my secret savings. The air was clean, my heart was finally healing, but I knew a massive storm was coming for Silver Ridge. Back at the ranch, the nightmare started almost immediately. The letter I took in my pocket was a final warning from the town bank. The ranch owed a massive debt. I was the only person who secretly kept the angry bankers away. Theron opened my heavy account books for the first time. He expected to see thousands of dollars. Instead, he saw giant red numbers. He panicked. He ran to his mother for help. But Odette had no answers. She only knew how to spend money. She had no idea how to make it. But the worst was yet to come. Winter arrived early. The town merchants refused to deliver the winter feed. They only trusted my signature. When Odette screamed at the ranch workers to work harder, they simply dropped their tools and walked away. My husband didn't realize something important. A ranch is not run by arrogant pride. It is run by blood, sweat, and respect. Within 2 months, a terrible sickness hit the herd. I used to stay awake for days making a special medicine to save them. Theron and Odette did not know the recipe. Hundreds of cattle died in the freezing dirt. The bank finally came. They locked the tall iron gates. They took the grand house, the horses, and the land. Theron and Odette were thrown into the dusty street with absolutely nothing. 3 months after I left, the freezing rain was pouring down at my new farm. I was sitting by my warm fire. Then I heard a weak knock on my thick wooden door. I opened it slowly. I could not believe my eyes. Theron was kneeling in the cold mud. His expensive clothes were torn and dirty. He looked 10 years older. The proud man was completely broken. "Vada," he cried. His voice was shaking in the wind. "Please, I was so blind. I was so wrong about everything." I stood in the warm doorway. I looked down at the man who broke my heart. "Where is the silver watch, Theron?" I asked quietly. He cried much harder. "My mother sold it. She sold my father's watch just to buy food. She lied about you. You were the only good thing in my life. Please, Vada, I am begging you. Let me come inside. We can start over." He reached out his dirty hand to touch my leather boots. I stepped back. I felt no sadness. I felt no anger. I only felt perfect, cold justice. "You made your choice in the dusty market," I said. My voice was like ice. "You chose her." "I will do anything," he screamed in the rain. "I have nothing left." I looked him right in his crying eyes. "Then you finally have exactly what you deserve," I replied. "Now go back to the dirt and respect your mother." I closed the heavy wooden door. I locked it tight. I walked back to my warm fire, poured a hot cup of tea, and smiled. My nightmare was finally over. My beautiful new life was just beginning.